It was supposed to be another harmless Halloween night. Candy, costumes, laughter. But when a K-9 started barking at an empty porch, everything changed. Officer Daniels thought it was a prank, until his flashlight caught a glimpse of something hidden beneath the boards, something no one was meant to find. Before we start, make sure to hit like and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. The radio crackled just after 9 p.m. Unit 47, possible disturbance at 112 Maple Street. Reports of crying under the porch. Officer Daniels sighed. Halloween night always meant prank calls and noise complaints. Still, something in the dispatcher's tone made him alert. He glanced at Ranger, his loyal K-9 partner, sitting upright in the back seat, ears perked as if he already sensed something waiting. When they arrived, the street was quiet except for flickering orange lights and the laughter of distant trick-or-treaters. The house in question looked festive. Jack-o'-lanterns on the steps, a fake skeleton hanging by the door. The homeowner, Mr. Allen, stood on the porch nervous. "It's just sound effects, officer. My Halloween setup." But as Daniel stepped closer, Ranger stiffened. His tail dropped, muscles tensed, and a low growl rumbled from his throat, aimed directly at the porch. Daniels frowned. "Easy, boy. What is it?" Daniels crouched beside Ranger, scanning the porch with his flashlight. The decorations swayed in the cold breeze. Fake cobwebs, plastic spiders, a fog machine humming softly. Everything looked normal, yet Ranger's growl deepened. The dog tugged forward, nose close to the ground, tracing invisible scent trails around the wooden steps. Daniels followed, boots creaking on the boards. Beneath the sound of rustling leaves, he thought he heard something. A faint, shaky whimper like a child crying. But when he stopped to listen, the noise vanished. Neighbors had gathered across the street, whispering nervously. Someone murmured, "Didn't a kid go missing here last Halloween?" Daniels tried to shake off the chill creeping up his spine. "Probably just a raccoon," he muttered. But Ranger didn't move. The dog's eyes were locked on the shadows beneath the porch, his body tense, tail rigid. Something down there wasn't right. Ranger's patience snapped. With a sharp bark, he began pawing at the edge of the porch, claws scraping against the old wood. Daniels grabbed his collar, but the dog pulled harder, whining in distress. It wasn't aggression, and it was desperation. "Hold on, boy," Daniels murmured, setting down his flashlight. He knelt, pressing against one of the loose boards. The old nails groaned, and the plank lifted with a crack. A rush of damp, cold air hit his face, carrying a smell that made his stomach twist. Metallic. Sharp. He shone the light inside. The beam flickered over dirt, cobwebs, and something else. A strip of fabric torn and stuck to a nail. Red stains covered it. Dark, dried, unmistakable. Daniel's pulse pounded. It wasn't a raccoon. It wasn't a prank. He gently pulled the fabric free. Under the grime, the pattern was clear. Bright colors faded from time. A piece of a clown costume. The air around him felt heavier. Ranger whined again, backing up slightly as if the ground itself had a story to tell. Daniel swallowed hard. Halloween had just taken a turn from spooky to horrifying. Mr. Allen's face went pale as Daniels held up the blood-stained fabric. I don't know anything about that," he stammered, hands trembling. "I just moved in 3 months ago. The decorations were already here. I thought they were leftover props from last Halloween." Daniels studied him closely. The man's voice shook, but his eyes avoided contact. Behind him, the cheerful glow of orange string lights flickered like dying embers. "Did you notice anything unusual under the porch?" Daniels asked. Allen swallowed hard. "Just noises. At night, I thought it was rats." Ranger barked sharply, breaking the silence. His growl returned. Not toward the house, but directly at Allen. Daniels tightened his grip on the leash. Ranger's instincts had never been wrong before. Detectives arrived, taping off the area, collecting the fabric for forensics. Daniel stepped aside, watching as the house transformed into a crime scene. When the others finally cleared out, Daniels lingered. The porch looked quiet again, empty. But Ranger wouldn't take his eyes off it, sitting perfectly still, ears forward, tail stiff. Something about that porch was calling him back. And Daniels could feel it too. The night wasn't finished with them yet. The night deepened and the neighborhood fell silent. Police lights had faded, leaving only the faint hum of crickets and the cold whisper of the wind. Daniels remained by the patrol car, watching the house. Ranger sat beside him, eyes locked on the porch, unmoving. Then it came again, faint but unmistakable. A soft, wavering cry. Daniels froze, the same eerie sound that started it all. But this time it wasn't distant. It was coming from beneath the porch. Ranger stood, ears pricked, muscles coiled. He growled low, pulling against the leash. Daniels grabbed his flashlight and stepped forward, heart pounding. The sound grew louder, a mix between a sob and a whisper, almost human, almost pleading. The porch creaked under his boots. Ranger scratched at a side panel, whining urgently. Daniels knelt and pried it loose, the nails screeching in protest. Behind it, darkness gaped, a narrow crawl space leading deeper under the house. He shone his light inside. The beam quivered. Somewhere in that darkness, something moved. A metallic clink echoed, like steel brushing against wood. "Who's there?" Daniels called out. Silence. Then, a low, distorted laugh drifted from the shadows. Daniels' flashlight flickered as he crouched beside the opening. The air that seeped out was damp and foul, thick with the scent of rust and decay. Ranger barked furiously, straining forward, leash snapping tight. "Easy, boy," Daniels whispered, but his own voice trembled. He called for backup, but every second felt like an hour. The crying had stopped now, replaced by slow, uneven breathing echoing from the dark. Daniels leaned closer, shining his light again. Something flashed, white paint. Then movement. A face emerged. A grotesque jester mask smeared with dirt and streaks of dried blood stared back at him from the shadows. The figure lunged, a glint of metal catching the light. Daniels stumbled back just as a knife slashed past his shoulder. Ranger roared and launched forward, ripping free from the leash. The German shepherd collided with the attacker, knocking him against the beams. The knife clattered to the ground. "Get him, Ranger," Daniels shouted, diving in. He wrestled the masked man, yanking off the disguise, revealing a hollow-eyed face he'd seen on wanted posters months ago. The Halloween killer. The one who'd vanished after the last string of murders. Officers swarmed in seconds later, pinning the man down. Daniels' hands shook as he caught his breath. Ranger stood guard, growling softly until the killer was cuffed. From the crawl space, officers pulled out a small wooden box. Trophies from his victims. The nightmare was finally over. By sunrise, news spread across the city. The Halloween killer was finally behind bars. The victims' families gathered at the station, tears of relief in their eyes. Reporters called it a miracle, but Daniels knew the truth. He looked down at Ranger, who sat proudly beside him, eyes still sharp, tail wagging faintly. "You did it, partner," Daniels said softly, patting his fur. "You saved more lives than we'll ever know." As they walked back to the patrol car, the porch light from the crime house flickered one last time, and for a brief second the night felt peaceful again.